Guys, I'm going to be honest. Dustin Poirier is going to choke out Islam Makhachev via guillotine choke, and I'm going to tell you exactly how he's going to do that. I'm just kidding. Dustin Poirier is going to get choked out again. I'm going to have to go see a therapist, and we're all going to cry. Here's why. All right, so starting off with Dustin Poirier, personally one of my favorite fighters, top 3, but no one cares about that right now. So he's 35 years old. This is definitely going to be his last title shot. He's 5'9", and he has a 72-inch reach. His record is 30 wins, 8 losses with 1 no contest. He has 16 knockouts, 8 submissions, and 7 decisions. This is by far his last chance ever at winning a title. First against Khabib, rear naked choke loss, and then second against Charles Oliveira, another rear naked choke loss, and might be a third one coming up soon, but I'll let you know. And at the end of this video where I'm going to actually give my prediction and kind of like a best bet. Dustin Poirier, man, he's been around the sport for I don't even know how long. Like, he was one of the guys I was most drawn to when I first started watching back in like 2015 or so. I never miss his fights, and you shouldn't either. At least I hope you shouldn't, and you definitely shouldn't miss this fight coming up. This guy's fought the who's who of mixed martial arts, especially in the UFC. He's fought Khabib, he's fought McGregor 3 times, he's fought Holloway, he's fought Gaethje, he's fought Chandler, he's fought just absolute killers. Dustin Poirier, so when I think about his fighting style, he's a southpaw. That's one of the reasons why I was always drawn to him, because I'm also a southpaw as well, and it's always fun watching a guy fight in your stance, especially if you're left-handed. He is one of the best boxers in my opinion in the UFC. He's got crazy hooks. He's got probably one of the best lead hooks in the UFC right now. Like, his lead hook is just absolutely incredible. I believe Daniel Cormier even said that he's actually right-handed, so his lead hook is essentially his power hand. I don't know how he does that. I don't know how he fights in southpaw if he's right-handed. That's just so weird to me, but that's kind of why that works in his favor, obviously, because look at where he's at. He's getting another title shot. And another thing with Dustin Poirier as well is that he's got some solid low kicks. He's just very well-rounded overall. We all saw his most famous use of his calf kicks was against Conor McGregor. That's literally why he won that fight. Just beat the shit out of Conor McGregor's legs and eventually led to him TKOing Conor McGregor, which was the closest I've ever been to crying in my life. That's a whole nother story, but roast me in the comments for that one. That's just embarrassing to say, but hey, I'm being honest at least. So, and another thing with Dustin Poirier is that this guy, he is always in an exciting fight. When he fights, I don't miss. I don't care where I am. I'm not missing that fight. It was the same thing with Justin Gaethje as well. Like, Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, those are 2 guys. I don't care where I am. I'm not missing that fight. Another thing with Poirier, he's so tough. He's extremely durable. Obviously, he's gotten knocked out before.
Now about a minute gone by, round 2.
So is everyone else in MMA essentially. So that's nothing too crazy, but he can definitely take a shot. He can definitely take a crack. And that's obviously something that's just a good thing to have in your corner if you're in an MMA fight essentially. And yeah, but then one of my favorite things with Dustin Poirier as well, he's got one of the best kill shots in the game. And what I mean by that more so is he's the best at like smelling blood in the water. So when he has his opponent hurt, he can definitely notice it right away and just chomps at the bit. One of the most famous examples is McGregor in the rematch fight. When he took an awkward step, he saw that McGregor was hurt, took advantage of him. And then when he has his opponent pressed up against the cage and he's throwing these crazy hooks, he did it to Chandler, he's done it to McGregor, he's done it to pretty much every person he's fought. Max Holloway, he's fought him twice. Max Holloway too, I didn't mention that. He's a very dangerous fighter, and I just love Dustin Poirier. I'm like, I can glaze this guy for 45 minutes, but I love him. I really do love him, and I don't understand why people would hate him too as well. That just doesn't really make sense to me, because he's a family man. He's funny. His Twitter's pretty funny too. You should definitely check out his Twitter if you haven't checked out Dustin Poirier's Twitter. But the last thing I'll mention with Dustin Poirier that I'm worried about in this Islam Makhachev fight is the fact that he doesn't have the best fight IQ. A couple of examples of that are in his title fight against Charles Oliveira. So he did this roll thing against Charles Oliveira when Oliveira was holding his gloves illegally, but dude, if I'm in an MMA fight, I'm breaking all the rules if I can get away with it. So no hate to Oliveira on that one. And then he just spent the second round on his back and eating Oliveira's elbows and shit, and he lost that round. And then Most notably in his last fight, this was the most low IQ, one of the most low IQ moves I've seen in so long, just constantly, is the fact that he just kept jumping guillotine. He even pointed out that Benoit Saint-Denis didn't even take him down in that fight. I didn't even take that in. Poirier just kept jumping gilly. He trademarked it and even made shirts about it and selling merch. Like, I love that. He's just hilarious. So it's just funny to see, but you can't make those mistakes against Islam Makhachev. You have to fight a perfect fight if you're going to beat Islam Makhachev. Like, Volkanovski fought an incredible fight in their first fight and he lost. And then rematch, whatever, who cares about that? We're going to move on to Islam Makhachev. So we got to glaze the champion a bit. So Islam Makhachev, he's 32 years old. He's 5'10" and he has a 70-inch reach. His record is 25 wins and 1 loss. Obviously got knocked out in that 1 loss.
Shot by Martins.
He has 5 KO wins and 11 submissions. His submission game is obviously incredible. Arm triangles, rear naked chokes, arm bars. He literally can submit you in any way possible. It literally doesn't matter. And with Islam Makhachev, everything is so technical. Everything is so precise. So you got to keep your eyes out with Islam Makhachev. Like, for some reason, this guy gets made fun of for his striking before, at least, but then he head kicked Alexander Volkanovski in the rematch fight. I don't care if it was a short notice fight for Alexander Volkanovski. He purposely was setting up that high kick by working the legs and working the body, and then he teed off on him on his head and knocked out Alexander Volkanovski. So don't sleep on him. He also wobbled Oliveira in like the first 10 seconds of their fight and then dropped him, which led to him submitting him. And obviously Islam Makhachev, incredible takedowns. We know this. He's nasty at those little inside and outside trips along the cage. That's probably what he's most popular for. He's capable of taking you down without the cage, obviously, as well as single legs, double legs. It doesn't matter. He's going to take you down. He's going to take Dustin Poirier down. It's just, can Dustin Poirier get up and can he knock Islam Makhachev out? Because that's the only way he's going to win this fight, in my opinion.
Oh my God! Dustin Poirier!
So I'm going to give my analysis on how I actually think this fight's going to go. So if I'm Dustin Poirier, you're fighting Islam Makhachev, I would not throw kicks. Maybe, if anything, a calf kick. I would only rip the calf kicks because you're going to risk Islam Makhachev catching your leg and taking you down. Secondly, you want to circle off against the cage. Once you have your ass against the cage, you're screwed. Islam Makhachev shooting on you. He's going to trip you. He's going to take you down. You're going to get smashed. So don't do that either. So if you're against the cage, circle off. I don't care if you have to run like Conor McGregor against Nate Diaz, or that one chick in MMA that got made fun of when she literally just ran straight into the cage. It was a pretty funny meme. Do that. I don't care. Get off the cage. Just don't get taken down. That's the #1 priority. But also with that, even more so, is that you can't be scared of the takedown. Have that in your mind, but you can't be constantly thinking of getting taken down, because first and foremost, that's going to open up Islam Makhachev's strikes, and Islam Makhachev is no joke in the striking game. He'll knock you out. You just can't respect Islam Makhachev. You got to go forward. You got to go at him. You got to put him on the back step. I think that's the perfect way of saying it. You got to put Islam on the back step, which is not easy to do, but that's the game plan that you got to do, because if you're getting backed up, you're going to be more likely to get put up against the cage and get taken down. But if you're clashing with Islam Makhachev, essentially, then that's the best path to victory, where you can hopefully connect like a lead hook or something and drop him. My mount just died, so I'm literally just gonna freehand this, but not much left to talk about. But so that's the game plan with Dustin Poirier, essentially. Islam Makhachev, just be Islam Makhachev. I don't have to get into that, but the way I see this fight playing out, I don't know. I do know. I think Islam Makhachev is going to win this fight, and I think he's going to win by rear naked choke. And the reason I think he's going to win by rear naked choke is because Dustin Poirier gives up his back pretty often. I feel like he gives up his back enough to make me worried in this fight that he's going to get rear naked choked again. Proof is in the pudding. Like, he gets rear naked choked in title fights, and there's a reason for that, and it's because his back gets taken. He let Chandler take his back a couple of times in this fight, and Chandler's a great grappler, sure. He's in the UFC for a reason, but he's not like Islam Makhachev, man. Like that's just next level. My official prediction is Islam Makhachev is going to win by rear naked choke submission in, I'm going to say the third round. That's my prediction. I hope I'm wrong. I'm going for Dustin Poirier so hard.